Welcome to another episode of Follow Suit. Today we have a very, very special episode. With it being Autism Awareness Month, we want to sit here and take some time to focus on a very important topic within the Black community. Well, in all communities, but I feel like definitely in the Black culture, it's not something that's highlighted enough. So I brought a few parents here who are parents of children with autism. As always, I am your host, P.O. To my right, we have Kiara, we have Darius, and then we have Yanni. So, wanted to roll it out today. How y'all doing?
Good. How about you?
Not much. So, with Autism Awareness Month, do you guys do like big things for your kids? Do you have certain events, or do you just treat what is that like? Because I know it's a walk. Like we've been on a walk for your son a few times, just to show support. Because I don't really know much about it until I met him and they kid, and I try to educate myself more on it. But so we try whenever we can. We try and make the walks every year. But outside of that, what do you guys do to celebrate Autism Awareness Month, or do you feel like it's something that's not promoted enough? And we can go around clockwise.
I definitely start with the ladies though. For me.
For me, I just try to post stuff or talk to people. Well, first of all, I got blue hair, so I mean that's the first thing. When people say something about it, I make sure I let them know it's Autism Awareness Month. But then I try to post stuff that people who have autism go through, sensory issues, stuff that they tend to be rigid about, or things that might upset them. I try to bring awareness and stuff like that.
So when I look at your page, it seems like you post that type of stuff year round. It's not just oh, it's August, so or April, I'm about to post autism stuff this month. It's a daily walk for you because you having children. It's like a consistent battle, right?
Yeah, because a lot of people got children. My son is 9, so it's some kids in the Black community don't get diagnosed until they know. My baby got diagnosed when he was 3. So it's in the Black community, because we don't talk about this stuff, or even just because when we go to doctor's office and stuff like that, a Black child is more likely to get a diagnosis later than a child of another race or whatever the case.
Why is that? Why would a Black child get diagnosed faster?
Well, later.
Well, later.
Yeah,
well, I would say that because they tend to say that the child is bad. It's a behavior issue. They're not looking at it as autism. They're just looking at a behavior issue. So.
See that type of stuff, and I think now, and correct me if I'm wrong. It seems like nowadays they're too quick to label somebody as autistic.
That's true.
Because I remember being in elementary school and I would see kids, I'm like, they in a separate class from me. And being in elementary school, you immature, so you be like, oh, that's the slow class. And you would say ignorant stuff like that, not really knowing. And then you get to middle school and you ain't nothing really wrong with this. Why was he in that class? Ain't nothing really wrong with this dude. And I feel like a lot of kids, more and more as I get older, I see these kids, they just have maybe attention issues or something like that. So how do y'all feel about how easily they classify kids as autistic?
Well, for me first, let me start here. With my son, it was diagnosed at 15 months. I think the hardest part initially is as a parent, you nothing's wrong with you don't really want something to be really wrong with your kid naturally. Not saying something's wrong, but you know what I mean.
Media says something is wrong.
Yeah. So then when you come to the grips with that, and then you got to make the parent decision. So we got him into immediately therapies immediately, speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, everything literally. And honestly, that was the best thing for him. It's as long as you actually try to do what's best for them, then they can become the best them as they go on in life. And amazing now.
Man, first of all, shout out to you because Black dads don't get a lot of love.
Yeah,
but especially Black dads of children with autism, because I know some dudes and they I've heard a dude out of his mouth say, "Hey, we got to get this test done. If they autistic, I'm out."
I know.
I
hate that, dude.
You serious, bro? Are you serious? And so shout out to you for even. Because I can imagine, as and you have a boy, and it's your first kid. You a man, and you picture doing all this stuff with your son a certain way, and then it's they autistic at 15 months, and it's most dudes will run away from that. But shout out to you for being,
what I mean,
doing that.
I appreciate that.
Because how is it for y'all? Are either of you married?
No, I'm single. Well, wait a minute, I'm dating. I'm sorry.
Okay. But you not with your child's father. That's what you're saying.
My child's father is not present.
Okay, so that was my question. How is it like raising an autistic kid as a single mom?
Now that, what you said, because I kudos to you that you stepped up, you all about it. When we found out my son had autism, the father, his father, he's in his life now, he's a good guy, but it was hard for him to accept it. Kind of shut down and whatnot. But I kind of shut down when I found out, but I knew, and what you said, going back to the question what you asked, what we do for Autism Awareness Month, well, when the IX Center was open, I used to take them there, they always gave something for Autistic Month. So, and that's how I really kind of found out something was wrong with my child. I took him at the age of 2. And when we had took him to the IX Center, we went to the back, it's all the lights and all the big Ferris wheels and stuff like that. And I just wonder, like, why is he screaming? He's just scared, but it's the sensor issue because it's too many lights, too much noise. So that's kind of like one of the reasons that I kind of went into getting them tested. But just knowing I had 2 other boys and I knew that they, it didn't take them that long to catch on to talking and doing different things.
So is your child with autism, are they the youngest or the?
Mine is the youngest.
Okay, so is yours, how many kids?
I got 2 boys, and my oldest, he is 9, getting ready to be 10. He's the one that has autism. My second son, we'll get into that a little bit later, but he's not diagnosed autistic. The thing is like my son had an onset of autism, which I got videos of my baby, mommy how long, mommy this, mommy that, like duck, dog, cat, like all of these different things. And then I know it's the big controversy surrounding this, but my son got the MMR vaccine.
Oh, man.
And when he got the MMR vaccine, he had a fever of 103.5.
So can you explain, because I don't have a clue, what is the MMR?
MMR is measles, mumps, rubella.
And that's only for, everybody can get that, but.
I mean, everybody cannot get it, because we could have, I'm looking at your body language and your body language.
Talk about it, because
we can have several conversations.
I don't know about this, like, if I got it, I probably was too young to know.
Well, to be honest, kids nowadays get way more vaccines than we ever got. So it's like their bodies are trying to filter out all these different things. And it's like, it's not even back then, like I'm 31, I'll be 32. When we got vaccines, the amount of stuff that they put in it is not the same stuff that they put in them today. So right before he turned 3, he got the MMR vaccine. He had a fever of 103.5 3 days in a row. We went to the hospital all 3 days. They got it down, they never broke it. That 4th day he woke up, he didn't have a fever at all, but he was no longer verbal. And it was like to me, I took it as in he was crying. And I'm a new mother. I was 22, I think, when I had my son.
Wow.
And so he was like hand flapping, but I don't know nothing about autism at this point. So it's like he's doing that, and then it's like he whiny. I can't get him to chew food no more. We talking about a kid that ate everything, you know what I'm saying? And so now everything that I'm giving him is liquid, like a smoothie type of thing. And I'm like,
so you noticed that changed after the vaccine?
Yeah, but the thing is, so my son's grandparents, which is his father's parents, they're doctors and nurses. So they just kept saying like, well, maybe you just don't feel good. Like, it's okay, give it some time. And then it was turning into this whole thing where I'm like, well, shit, we 2 weeks in. How much time y'all want to give it? Like, my baby ain't said a word. Like,
I agree.
The older generation, man, I swear, like they be like, listen, look, give them some time, no, tell them to take a nap, maybe no, man, no, damn about that. Like, it's a new world. Like, it ain't gonna hurt to go to the doctor real quick, check them out. At least you try. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather go get them checked out. If something ain't wrong, I'm more comfortable with that than like not going and then they be messed up for real. Cause like that type of stuff be crazy. So like with you having your oldest kid being diagnosed with autism or being autistic, like how did that make you feel with like having another kid? Cause and being a single parent with an autistic kid. Cause that shout out
to be honest.
Cause one kid
definitely
with 2 parents is tough.
Definitely.
Yeah.
One kid with 1 parent is damn sure tough, but then the autistic kid is a handful.
To be honest, I didn't understand the capacity at the time when I got pregnant
That's
with my
all you
second
knew.
child. Like, I mean, it was just like he was so young at that point that it was like you could hide it. Like, it wasn't not even that I was trying to hide it, but it was like you can't tell. Like, he's 3, I can still pick him up, I can put him on my hip, I can carry him. Versus a 6 or a 9-year-old where you can't pick this motherfucker up. Like, you can't. It ain't that. It's they flailing, they doing all this other stuff. So I think if I would have had, if I would have to think about having a kid after I would have met my son at 6 or at 9, I probably wouldn't have had another kid.
So you had your second kid. How old was your son? Like
He
3,
was
you said?
3.
Okay.
Yeah. He was 3 turning 4.
So it's different, like, I don't want to say tiers, but it's different types of autism, right? Like, because
Spectrum scale, it's a scale.
Because I've seen some who are just energetic, like a ball of energy all the time. I don't want to say the wrong stuff.
No,
But
you
then-
say all of it. Say what
But
you're
then-
saying.
That's what we're here for.
No, but I just don't. I don't want to
understand too.
I don't want to say like the politically wrong things because I don't.
No.
You know what I mean. But like,
It's not wrong.
I've seen some who bounce off the walls, and then I've seen some who are like, they just to themselves, but they anxious as hell. Like, no, don't touch that. It's mine. Leave it alone. And they like it got to be like this.
Yeah.
And they particular. And
Very.
I think them people gonna lead the world. They, you know what I mean?
Come on now.
They on top of stuff like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They organized as hell, and then there's some who nonverbal. From what I just heard on my live,
Yeah.
somebody said they grandson was nonverbal. So like, what's the difference? Like, how was your kid?
My son, they diagnosed him on the moderate level.
Okay.
Meaning, and I don't know if it comes from me having him having older siblings. So they kind of like pretty much did everything with him. They didn't
think about
pacify
that.
the situation. They just still
Treated him
interacted.
normal.
Yeah, treated him normal. Yeah. So my son, he can talk. He can speak very good. Like you and I, he'll have a whole conversation, but he won't look at you. He won't give you full eye
so he
contact.
kinda like-
He's an introvert. He stayed himself. But he's into music. Like he love the Rolling Stones, like different stuff like that. He can draw. He loved Tupac. That's his favorite rapper. He never even knew about Tupac. He wasn't born when Tupac was.
Right,
You know?
right.
It's just something that he just learned on his own. So yeah, he's moderate level. He's verbal. He communicate.
And then how about? I mean, I know, but
Mild.
yeah.
But it was mild. He was diagnosed with mild, but he started out like not. And I got to touch back where you went. We'll get there in a minute.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna start where he at though. But you just reminded me.
Some shit.
But it was mild, yeah, with that shot stuff. It was mild, and he was non-verbal. He really wasn't really verbal. Like he had a machine that he used to press to tell us, to show us what he wanted, and he would sign sometimes here and there, and he really grew out of that. Like, and now he talk all day.
I was about to say
Like, I
because
love
his
it.
son, like I know
Absolutely.
his son, he was talking, like
Yeah.
he was talking to me, and I haven't seen him since COVID for obvious reasons. But like he would be around and be like, hey, first he had to kind of warm up to me, and then once he seen me around a little bit, it was just like, hey, let's go do this or let's do that. He would sit there and chop it with me. I could tell like he was active and hyper, but to me it was just like. I fuck with nephew. Nephew want to kick it, and that's just how it was. But I love kids.
Yeah.
Other people ain't mature enough to like
Yeah.
sit in that. How is it trying to? I want to turn it up a little. How is it trying to date somebody
Shit.
when you have an autistic kid? Like how is it? Because you got to be extra.
Yeah.
Like because already with your kids, you got to be sensitive of introducing them to your children.
Yeah.
But then now you gotta get them close enough to like. I think about something about Mary. Now I don't know. Was he autistic? Y'all seen the movie?
I can't remember. I know what movie you was
She had something about Mary.
Yeah.
He was autistic.
Yeah, he was autistic.
Okay, so
Or he wore a helmet and stuff.
yeah. So like he had to gain trust
Yeah.
before they can even come around.
Oh, yeah.
So like, how is it like to even be like, all right, look, I want you to meet my son. Like, how is that? And then, because I know for me, like, I'll start with me.
Okay.
Like, if I was single and trying to date a girl who was autistic. Not date a girl who was autistic.
But you could though.
Yeah.
And
But
I know.
Yeah, that's not what I was. That's not what I was going to. Date a girl who had an autistic kid. I would be knowing myself. I would try and be like understand. And I'm not trying to say it because we on camera. Like just know like he know me. Like knowing
No
myself
question.
and how I was raised. Because I was raised around a lot of kids. So I would try. You know what I mean? I would try, but it would be a lot. You would have to be in there and be fully like let the girl know like look, I'm in. You know what I mean? I'm rocking with you. But they gotta like. I feel like you would end up gaining love and trust from the kid before the mother because I feel like the mother gonna be like, no matter how close you get with the kid, I feel like the mother guard gonna be up the whole time. You break my son's heart, kill him. I can imagine.
No question.
So how?
So let me ask y'all if y'all feel this way. Do y'all feel like y'all kids have a sixth sense about who's around them?
Oh yeah,
Oh, no
absolutely.
question.
So
Man.
that's
Absolutely.
the first thing.
Yeah,
Like
well,
right
you
there.
let the child feel them out
Like
first.
literally, though.
And honestly, you know,
Do you
with
feel like
them-
that about just your autistic kid or kids in general?
I mean, it's different with typical kids in a sense because it's like they kind of want somebody around if it ain't nobody around.
Okay.
But then in the same sense, like when you got this child that's autistic, it's like, you know, off top you almost could tell like this ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Like they facial expression, they body language, they move, like how
They
they
ain't know
change. No, like you give them a couple of times to come around, and that's the one thing that I did have to learn was like I was always so hell bent on like I ain't bringing nobody around my kids because
Yeah.
But honestly, from what I've learned, I'd rather bring them around sooner because that's gonna tell
To
me
weed
if I'm
them
about
out.
to waste my time or you about to put my child in a situation to where they not about to fuck with you. Like
I can respect that because I feel like kids, they, you know, now I'm big on not like bringing a lot of people
Yeah,
around your
I agree
kids.
with that.
Now I never had to go through that because my kid is with my wife, so I never had to be in that situation. But like, I know a lot of people who like I don't like when I see them like they got a kid. Now they dating a dude and the dude around their kid and the dude, you know, I don't like them seeing that, and especially, and I ain't trying to be sexist, but especially when it's a woman, a single woman bringing guys in and out around their daughter or something like that.
Oh yeah,
Like,
for sure.
But the
Yeah.
sons too, shit.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
they weird too.
it's, yeah, but
bad.
no.
No, but for real, like I mean, all right. So my experience with dating is like, I be liking somebody, and then I be going through a moment of depression. And I don't like nobody. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Like that's the realest thing, cause it's like right now, this is probably the most I ever loved myself, cause I had so much that I had to put into my babies.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like right now where I'm at is like I'll date, but at the sign I'm not ignoring no warning signs. Like this is what it is. Like, but I will say it kind of do go hand in hand with this because like even when we date now, like the guy that I'm dating now, like I have brought him around my kids, but I'm a little selfish because I don't get a lot of me time or time to myself. It's like I would rather spend time with him, like
Him,
by
like, your
myself.
kid?
Yeah, and then
by him you mean your kid?
No, I mean like I would rather. No, I'm saying no. So like this, like I would rather spend time with the guy that I'm dating right now, without my kids when I have time because that's the only thing.
Yeah.
Totally understand.
Like that's it. Like, but at the same time, like slowly but surely, I'll incorporate him into stuff with my kids. But selfishly, because I don't have a lot for myself, like that's mine. This is me. This is my
I get
thing.
that.
When you got a kid that's on the spectrum, you tend to have to share things that you don't want to share, like my bed. You know what I'm saying? Like this is an up and down thing. Don't let it be a
That's
thunderstorm.
facts.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Because
no
they
question.
in there, and then that's like
Immediately.
one night that I let you sleep in my bed because it was a thunderstorm, which
Now
might
you
turn
want
into
every
4
night.
weeks.
There you go.
So
you know what
are
I mean? Before I can get you back out my
Because
bed.
now it's a routine.
Yeah.
so are all autistic kids? Is sound is that a trigger for
Yeah,
all
it's
of
a
them?
sensory
no
sensation
question.
issue.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, because
Too
I
much
figured.
noise, it'll trigger.
Because like when me and
anything.
Lon talk about it, we be like, he always said like they superheroes. Like they like
Yeah.
like Marvel should do something on
yeah.
autistic
They really should.
Yeah,
For sure.
character.
Yeah.
And they kryptonite. Like, I know Marvel, DC, all of that, but
Yeah.
they weakness is sound.
It's
pretty
sound.
much.
Yeah.
And then just their kryptonite also is just like they're scared of change.
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah,
used to a
definitely.
routine. So if something is out of whack, like when my son when he was younger, he used to line everything up in order. He had an order. If he went up outside that order, it would be a problem. It would be a tantrum. So yeah, that kryptonite would be just like trying to change him.
So that that don't make it even harder trying to date.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Because that change.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it doesn't make it hard for me to date. Maybe back then, when I found out, I didn't even care about dating.
Yeah.
I had to learn
Yeah.
my child, so I really was in a relationship with my child, learning him
Yeah.
and growing with him. But now, by him being 10 years old, he's an introvert. So if he see that I'm dating or if I bring someone around, he be like, oh, and he'll just go about his business. Like, okay,
Yeah.
he know in his mommy got a man, but I leave her alone.
That's deep as hell because you sit there, you like, I ain't got time. Like I literally got to figure out my kid on a daily
I have to
basis.
date my
'Cause,
child,
like,
yeah.
Cause it be time, you know, with your kids, you let them grow, you teach them certain stuff, and then it's like, all right, do your own thing. But for y'all gotta be extra cautious.
Yes.
So that made me think, like, when you think about your son's future, like, do you ever picture them like, I'm gonna be okay with him living on his own when he get older?
You know what? That's funny.
Cause I think about that type
I
of
just
stuff.
had
That's
so
so
I
scary.
don't. I'm not.
Because your son is smart as hell.
I know, but I literally just asked him like yesterday. I'm like, you gonna live with mommy and daddy forever?
What did he say?
He like, literally. But my worry, like you said, yeah, he's smart. My worry is the world because they don't understand.
Yeah.
You know, like I do, you do, we all
They
do.
could be too friendly to strangers.
You understand what I'm saying?
And they let people
And
in.
me.
So they'd be cool in their own bubble.
Yeah, they will. But
when
if
they out
they
in
see
the-
if they have a friend,
Yes.
let them find a friend.
Somebody that understand that.
That understand now you the world to me. So now when they get older and you let them out in the world, the wrong person may take advantage of that. They don't know they being taken advantage of.
that's
So
the problem.
that's scary.
That's
scary.
And so like they kids are verbal. My son is non-verbal. He partially communicates through a speech generation device, which is like you can get him in like a tablet, an iPhone, an iPad, iPod. He got an iPod, and so he can say like I want grapes or want to go to the store, like type of stuff. He got buttons that we set up specific to him. So it's like that communication piece. Like personally, I don't think my son is ever gonna be able to live on his own. Now, I'm not God. I didn't think my son was ever gonna say mommy again, and he just recently started saying that again. So it's like they do stuff that it's like you don't really expect. But to be honest, where he is, and some like it's so many times where I see this typical 9-year-old pop up, and it's like that's typical 9-year-old stuff to do. But then it's the other stuff with the behaviors and stuff, and I'm like, you still 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like that's where you kind of like I draw the line, like where it's like, okay, whereas I want to live my life, I want to have my own things because I'm a person and I'm important too. It's like I still don't know what life after me is gonna be like. Like everybody not gonna be as understanding as we are. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, we don't have the same community that people have. Like you about to have a baby, and how everybody embracing y'all. We lose our community. You know what I mean? Because
autism?
you can't, because of autism, you can't just drop your child off and say they want to go stay at grandma's house. You know what I'm saying? Because
it's harder to
every
get a
grandma
sitter.
ain't got the wherewithal.
Patience.
They don't have the patience
Every
to do
day
it,
is the patience.
I was hearing for the longest, ain't nothing wrong with him, just whoop his ass.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Well,
yeah.
ass whooping ain't it.
Yeah.
Like that's actually making it worse. You actually teaching them a behavior at that point, like about how to respond. So I mean, like if you do this, I don't like this. I whoop your ass. And so now you got your kid who is, well, mommy ain't doing this. I did this, and now I'm about to whoop her ass. Like I got a 9-year-old that's extremely aggressive. And he non-verbal, so that makes that adds to the level of aggression.
So are they more of like a hair trigger to like snap at any moment, or like? Because I remember like being in school and like you would see some of them, like, because it would be a class of them, like maybe like 8 or less kids, and you would see some, you like, they coming down the hallway, you moving to the side because you scared, but not scared of like, you just don't know what they gonna do or what they capable of, and they just be all over the place, and you would just be like, yo, what, like, it's crazy. And then you see the other ones in the same class, what's up, man, and they normal, and not to say they ain't normal, but it's like, it's differences. So is it like, are they like a one thing can instantly, even if they cool, or they like, you got to walk on eggshells around them?
No, different things can be triggers. I mean,
different things trigger it. Yeah. But you don't have to walk on eggshells around them because 9 out of 10, they ain't gonna want to communicate anyway. They gonna be like, stay over there, I'll stay over here. Like, with touch, you can't really, like my son, you can't do all this to him. It's
you can't. No sudden touch.
No sudden touch. Sudden touch that'll trigger anxiety.
Your baby need love.
My baby is super affectionate, even though he's aggressive. He has certain things that triggers his aggression, which I kind of want to talk about this because I think this is important. In the black community, we don't really go like helps. Like we'll go get a vaccine, but it's certain things we not checking on. So like for my son, he didn't start being aggressive until he was like 7 years old, and he had a bowel block. But the thing is, because he's nonverbal, I'm thinking he done went in school or something like that, and it's no issue. So for the first couple of weeks, it started with him hurting himself, and I'm like, why are you doing this? Like biting himself. All types of stuff. Yeah. And so, because we have been with this one neurologist, because they also have other underlying health issues as well. My son has GI issues. He also has epilepsy as well.
Really?
Wow. So the epilepsy came right after the vaccine, which I didn't even know that was there because your typical thing when you think about a seizure is you thinking convulsions, twitching. No, he was having absent seizures where he wasn't like you could move your hand in front of his face, he wouldn't blink, he wouldn't do none of that, or he would just be staring off, and I'm like, okay, well.
So he won't. So this is new to me. So
Yeah.
I always thought epilepsy, they drop, they shake, you get like a key for their tongue or something
Spoon
like
or
that,
something.
spoon or something. But they can have just like they just blank out.
Yeah, blank out, and it could be seconds. It don't have to be minutes. It could be
I used to go
seconds.
through those.
So with that, like, is that like hazardous, or they just
It
like
is. It kills
zoned
brain
out?
cells.
Holy shit!
So you talking about when I said the thing about the vaccine, you talking about a fever of 103.5, which is already frying cells, and then you having the seizures on top of that, so that's double frying. So now you got the regression of where he lost his speech. The cells that they died are the cells that he can't function.
So with your kid, because you have the nonverbal kid, like this, because like with me, like I always got earphones in around the house. I like to have music on, but I gotta keep one out now that I got a kid. Because I gotta make sure nothing is happening to him while I'm in another room. How do you, like, how do they communicate with you with something wrong? Do you just gotta keep constantly checking on them? Like,
Well,
sign
that was
language?
the communication. So the communication, some of them don't learn sign language. By the way, I used to work with a school district as well with mine. So we kind of I worked in the autism unit, but his communication was joint attention, where he might like grab my hand or my arm and like put me in that direction.
Oh,
tell me,
okay.
But it's like eventually once you're around this kid or this person, you kind of learn them. Like you
Oh, yeah.
learn what it is. But to just say like if you was to walk in, like I would have to tell you like, oh, he mean this. Like when he said about the sign language, like the first thing they teach a kid when they go to sign language is more.
Always.
And I think that shit is wrong. Because they say it for everything. So now it becomes
that's
the
true.
like
It's like a
you
natural
don't
habit,
yeah,
like,
it's just a natural habit.
even
Like
think
it's
about it
not
like that.
something
Yeah.
that you can and his wasn't this, it was this. So now you walking up to this random person at school or in the
Clapping
store
at
or
'em.
whatever, and they like, oh yeah, clap. Like
They
Gotcha.
No,
they
that's
automatically
not
don't
it.
know.
That's true.
So I
Yeah.
want to go back because you had something you want to say about the vaccine, because I was
I was
mind
gonna
blown
question
by
about the vaccine. I was gonna ask y'all how y'all feel about just vaccines, period. Like, I know,
Well, I have put up a post.
but I'm gonna speak up.
I have put up a post about the the children getting vaccine. It actually was in the news and media. If you Google it, it'll say certain things of that.
You talking about COVID or just vaccines?
No, the vaccine where the kids have to get their shots. You know,
Okay,
their stage
yeah,
shots.
yeah.
Me, I personally can't say where I think my son got autism from because it's not a per se.
Yeah.
But to go back what you said, I used to have those seizures where I used to just blank out and stare out. I didn't go down to the ground and shake, but my family used to, you know what I'm saying? I used to just blank out. So when I was pregnant with my son, this is how I found out I was pregnant with him. I was going through those seizures and I went to the hospital and they was like, oh, Ms. Ellis, did you know you were pregnant? Or whatever. But this was after they was giving me the medicine for taking the pills for epilepsy. So it all goes hand in hand to think like, dang, well, did it come from the medication? So that's when I used to question myself. And to go back on sedotism, that's how I really pretty much started it. After I had my son, and I got him tested at Cleveland Clinic, the Center for Autism. I went to a couple appointments, and when I finally went back and they told me, gave me the paperwork, they say, well, yes, your son Giovanni Hollis is diagnosed with autism. I mean, I cried like a baby in that office, but I already knew it. I just didn't want to hear them tell me. Because now I feel like my son has autism. Like, wow, that's a big thing now. I got to tell my family and friends. I don't want nobody judging me. But it's nothing to judge. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I try to tell everybody it's nothing to be ashamed of. You just pretty much got to learn your child.
I really appreciate what y'all doing with y'all stuff like dopetism, because it is a dopeness in it, and the puzzle pieces, because it's like they're very, from what I've learned, they're very like detailed and particular. Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, that's why the puzzle pieces is the symbol for it, right? They're very like
it's a lot of moving pieces of the puzzle.
Got it. That's dope. That's dope.
So what's your thought on vaccine? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I don't know. Okay, so for my son was literally doing everything on pace. I ain't gonna lie to you. And I clearly remember, cause like I can still see it. He was walking down the hallway, like a couple steps forward, dad, this, done the third. He got shots, and everything went backwards. I ain't gonna lie. That's how. That's my personal viewpoint on it. Like, I'm like, no, and I'm like, other people like, no, you tripping, and I don't really, in my heart, I don't feel like that. I feel like
I agree with you.
It set them back. You feel like,
because
the way, I can't remember which one of y'all explained it, but when y'all said something about the vaccine they got, and then they Your son stopped talking after that,
He
right?
completely
See,
stopped talking.
that,
I got videos of my son talking.
Because these,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, see, that
And it's the thing is, like, to kind of go back to what he was saying, is like, when you first have a baby, the first thing they say is, oh, we gonna give him this vitamin K shot. We gonna give him this eye wash. We gonna give him this
Before you take the child home,
hepatitis B.
shot,
You know what I'm saying? But the reality of it is who is your child about to be around that has all of this stuff going on?
Right.
Yeah.
Because for the first 30 days, your baby at home with you and your guy and the other kids is there. And if they already vaccinated, then it's like, who else are they coming in contact with to have all of this stuff going on? So for me, it's like, even when you go to the hospital and you talk to these doctors, like, nobody else in my family is autistic. Like, it's people
Where did
that's
it come
married
from?
in. So where did this come from? Because it's like, even like now they try to say stuff like the acidity in your uterus can cause it, or, you know, you being stressed. But you think about, like, older generations, they smoke and drink
I'm not
their
gonna-
whole pregnancy.
Yeah, hold on.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I swear to
they
God,
whole
they be making stuff
pregnancy.
up. Like, maybe they weren't classifying people as autistic back in the day, but I swear it wasn't like
No, this is.
it wasn't as many autistic
It
people.
wasn't. It's an exposure.
But I do got a 30-year-old cousin who has autism, so I knew about autism way back when.
Yeah, I have an aunt. She's like 70, and she's autistic, and
Wow.
she came like she's still my grandfather. He moved her up from Alabama, and she can't. I mean, she can talk, but she like, hey baby, come on now, hey
She got
hey
a
nephew,
rhyme
come on
to it.
nephew.
They're robotic the way they
Yeah,
talk.
but like she dancing, she kicking
And she
it.
heard somebody say
She
that.
get it, yeah, right, yeah.
She heard
Because
somebody
we
say
would come up like, what's up, baby? How you doing? Just to talk to them normal. Because like I remember being in school, and like another thing I wanted to ask y'all, like when y'all kids go out to school, are you worried like, dang, how they gonna get treated? Because I remember in school, kids in them classes, they didn't necessarily get picked on. They were misunderstood. I'm not saying like in my school, like they were just scared of them, or they didn't understand it, or you might hear people talk about them, but they never in my school they never directly fucked with them, and it was like because they didn't. It was just the unknown. Like people was more so scared than other things, and then as you got older, like you had a couple assholes in high school who would make fun of like,
that's what I'm saying.
you know, somebody would be like they'd be a big fan of a certain star, and like, oh, this one girl was a big fan of Mario.
Okay.
And people would be like, Mario sucks, and then she would just start going crazy, like, and they would keep doing it to get a reaction out of them, and that's the most I saw once, and that was once I got to high school, but it was just a few assholes that was doing that, but like for the most part, I always felt like people were just more so like scared because it was like, yo,
They just didn't understand it.
they was all like when I got older, because it's people I know, like they make music, and they was like, he was in a special class when we was in elementary school, but he is perfectly fucking normal. Like,
You got a lot of celebrities that's on TV.
Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld,
I
Barbara
didn't know
Einstein,
that.
like all them,
Listen to
they
his
was
voice.
autistic.
Literally.
Yeah.
All of them was autistic.
I didn't know Seinfeld.
Yeah, Seinfeld. Look at Seinfeld, billionaire.
Yeah. The person that made the Pokemon.
I knew that. I knew that. Yeah.
You know.
And then they say, what is his name? Not for the computers, not the iPhone. Wait a minute.
Gates. That's what you talking about?
Bill Gates was one of them. One of them were autistic too.
No, I don't think he
Albert
was.
Not
Einstein.
Gates. Was it
Was-
Joe? What was his
You
name?
talking about Steve Jobs? Who you talking
Steven Jobs.
Oh yeah,
He's
he
autistic,
was. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Gates. I'm gonna say Gates.
Yeah,
was.
not Gates. Yeah. I
Yeah,
knew it was
Steve
somebody with
Jobs.
the money.
Steve Jobs made like 10 billion in a day last year or something.
Yeah.
Like,
that goes to show that's why dopetism come around, because they so dope and they got their dope.
Mm-hmm.
Dope. I don't even say disability. I say it's a dope ability.
that's wrong. I like
Yeah.
that.
So they got all these different talented and
There's stuff they
superheroes.
can
Like
do.
when they say superheroes, now what? They are superheroes.
Like my son, like since you brought that up, like my son, like I can be like, all right, if I was born 1959, he'll tell me the age.
Wow.
He can do that right.
I can't even do it.
No,
like
I
that.
gotta be like.
Wow.
He do it
30 to
backwards too. I
1.
can tell him, all right, well, hey, I do the reverse of that. He'll do the reverse. Well, you were born in 1926 then. Okay, cool.
That is
Like we did on
awesome.
the
But that's
spot.
how they are.
Yeah.
That's
That's
awesome.
crazy.
Or like I'd be like, I'm trying to open up a jar of pickles or something. I can't get it. I'd have been just saying out loud like, damn, I can't get this open. And I just set it down and walked away, and then I come back and it's completely it's open.
They won't say
Like,
nothing.
No, he just did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like I ain't
yeah.
asked him to do it or here, open this for me. But it's just like you come back like. And it's
Yeah,
like,
and that's
wow.
and that goes hand in hand with the strength. They
Yeah.
got some strength that we can't even imagine.
I was about to ask that because like.
Their strength, yeah.
Because people listen. again, in school, when you hear people, when you're younger, you hear people say stupid stuff like retard strength. No, they're not retarded, man. It's like, I don't believe in that. But when you hear people say that about the strength, like, that's a real thing. Like, not obviously not the word retard, but like,
look,
they have that autism strength.
I'm strong. Listen, I look skinny and all. I'm very strong for my size. Listen, my son. Oh my gosh. It took. I remember when he first started really getting shots. Like. I mean,
trying to hold him down.
What? It took 3 of us, and like me, like really
Hugging
like holding him. No, like me, grown man. Like,
so he was. They scared of needles and stuff. Like,
Mine.
he's not now.
oh, okay. Yeah, he cool.
But the strength part is when they're angry.
Yeah.
It's like Hulk Hogan. It's amazing. And my son he's probably like 50 pounds wet, soaking wet. And this thing used to run around the house. He used to, and this is another thing when he didn't really know how to express his feelings. He used to, we could be at the movies, we could be at different events. If something's not going on time, because in their head they know this is supposed to start at this time. I look over, my son already have his socks and shoes off. I be like, oh, please don't do it. I look over again, he have his jeans coming off. I know it's about to go down. You got to get him up out of there.
Yeah.
I didn't left birthday party. We talking about this at my house. I didn't left birthday party because he was completely naked.
Hey,
It's the same here.
Yeah.
Did y'all see that movie, Friends with Benefits, with Justin Timberlake?
Yes, and
his dad was he autistic? Because he was just up naked in middle of like. They'd be out to eat, and you would just see some socks, like you just said, you just see some socks somewhere. Just pop, just ass out, just. I was waiting on you, son, just chilling, butt naked.
And that could be, and that was the calm part of it. Like, but this was the part where when you start seeing clothing coming off, you gotta go.
You gotta get up out
You gotta go.
So I want to ask y'all before we get ready to wrap it up, because I'm gonna ask y'all like 2 questions.
Sure.
One movie, because I felt very, 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 very weird about watching this movie, because I didn't know whether to laugh or not. But then I also, like, they were signed off. So y'all seen the movie The Ringer? With the dude from Jackass, Johnny Knoxville. And he was in a movie with, like, a bunch of special needs kids.
Okay,
and they were real special needs people. And he was in there acting like he was a special needs kid as well. And he was joining their Olympics to try and get at this girl. And there was a lot of, like, jokes. And there was a lot of funny shit that was happening in the movie. But, like, they were doing funny, like, we can't have a conversation because none of y'all saw it, but I wanted to get y'all a general idea. I want y'all to watch that movie.
Okay.
Because The Ringer with Johnny Knoxville, because it's real, actual. I don't even know if they're autistic. I don't know what to determine them. After talking to y'all, I'm willing to bet they was autistic.
Okay.
Because they was functioning, talking, laughing. They was talking to him like he was a punk bitch. They was saying stuff like that to him.
Oh yeah, my son's going through a cursing stage right now.
Yeah, they were saying that to him. So,
and I let him because I let him express himself, guys. Just let him
express himself. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
They got a different situation than most people, so
yeah.
You know.
And sometimes you rather say something than to say nothing.
Oh yeah, if you even hear him saying something, you're like, oh yeah, that's Giovanni up there, cousin. That's fine. Because just because he's talking, I don't want him to stop that talking with that stage that you said. Your son stopped talking. So yeah, to miss out on that, that's amazing.
So the biggest thing, like I talk about, because you brought up school a whole bunch of times, and I really want to touch on this. Working in the school, I've seen so much shit. Initially, I thought sending my son to the special education program, I ain't even gonna say the school district, was gonna, like, oh, they was doing great with him, you know, everything's on point, whatever. When I actually started working in the school district, I was like, what the fuck? Like, a lot of these programs is really just to pacify your kid, and if you look at their bylaws state in Latin, which is, we don't read Latin. It states to do enough. So being in an autism unit, being in a multiple handicap unit, they put this packet in front of you. This packet got numbers, letters, colors, or whatever it is. It could be algebra. And you say, here, do this. Okay, here, do this. And I'm going to take your hand and scribble up this paper. I'm sorry, my bad. I'm sorry.
You got to take me up again.
My bad. But you're going to take this. You're going to take this piece of paper, and we going to just say you did it, and I'm gonna put this in a file, in a portfolio, and I'm gonna say this is what he turned. This is what he turned. You know what I'm saying? The same thing when you talking about the services, they hit you with this IEP meeting, which IEP meetings are long as hell for no reason. They put you in this meeting and they say we're gonna give your child 120 minutes of speech for the month. But they ain't telling you how they gonna split that month up. Is it gonna be the same day every week? Is it gonna be 15 minutes here? Is they coming in the classroom? Where it's going to be at? So all these it's questions that you really need to ask, because really they get extra dollars for your child coming to their school or being in their school district. So my son is out of district. He is at the Cleveland Clinic Learner School for Autism. It's almost
Awesome. You got your child in there. I was on the waiting list for a long time, and I just said forget it.
Yeah, but try and move. It's just whatever it is, because the school districts don't have to do what these schools have to do.
Yeah.
So it's like, if my son got in that school when he was 6 years old, because I made him do an extra year of preschool, if he would have never went to that school, he wouldn't be talking through a speech device. He started out with a speech device. They took it from him and had 50 buttons on it, and he was using all 50 buttons. They started taking it from him because he would ask for grapes during academic instruction. So he don't even give a fuck about learning his ABCs or none of that.
Yeah.
You gotta also pick what's important to you for your child to know. For me, I don't care if my son knows nothing academic. My thing is, if I die in this house with him, can he open a jar of peanut butter? You know what I'm saying? If I die, can he pick up this phone and put these numbers together to do X, Y, and Z? So it's like, whereas, you know, we do care, because we be like, our family members be like, he ain't smart. We don't need him to know this academic shit. We need him to know how to survive. So it's like, in the back, like, I really want people to hone in on it, because we do be like, oh, he's saying his colors now. Who cares? Like,
It's, when Glenn was here on the last episode, he was saying, like, all the teacher is required to do for you is feed you and attempt to teach you. Nothing else. They don't gotta like you. They don't gotta have a relationship with you at all. And I feel like that's the biggest, like, downfall in the education system in general. Because, like, my mom is a teacher. She can retire. She's been teaching since before I was born. I'm 33. My mom can be retired, but she chooses to keep driving from Macedonia to the inner city Cleveland because she loves her kids. Like, she got one student because of COVID. Only one student comes to class. Like, and she'll do virtual learning with other kids who not even, like, my son ain't in school, but my mom would be like, put him in the virtual learning, or she do that to everybody she know who got a kid that's not actually going to school right now. So I feel like we need teachers, people like that need to be teachers who actually care. If you don't care, like Lon, when I talk to him about autism, he cares about them kids. Like, people gotta care, because it's like, you can't just, you gotta be sensitive with these kids, man. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm getting a check, whatever. Like, you can't do that at a school, man.
You can't do that at home. Say, I'm just getting a check. Guess what? All that money has to go, because they have routine. He may want McDonald's this day. He may want corned beef this day. He want Taco Bell that day. And you gotta have money. If you don't have no money,
because they only eat certain things, but they really only eat certain things.
And you gotta give them that, because if you don't, they won't eat.
And then they cut your check if you make too much on a certain level. So you can't never just have this SSI check in this job. You gotta have a
that's terrible,
especially if you're a single mother. And I'm pretty sure she can speak to this, which dotism. That's why I'm saying that, because she can't just do a regular 9 to 5 and provide for her babies.
There you go.
I mean, like, and for him alone, even if it wasn't the other two, she couldn't work. I've been making 12, 13 hours for the last 3 years. Like, because I can't. There's nothing else I can go. So kind of going into this. This is what puzzle piece is not the regular pieces. It's piece is about. I advocate for people like you and people like you and people like me, because you essentially lose yourself in this shit. Like, you completely forget who you are. Like, because it becomes about them. And so for me, I couldn't work for 2.5 years to be able to make sure my son got the therapy he needed. So it's like, again, you losing yourself. You got a degree for what? You know what I'm saying? To not be able to use it. We need relief. Like, you talking about going on a date and you gotta find somebody that's perfect to watch this kid? Like, no. Like, you might not go on a date for 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Then you might go on that one date and not go on a date again for another 5 years.
Shout out to parents and children with autism, because y'all mental health is important. Because that's a lot, man.
That's it. Think what she said about going to a birthday party. You might go and can stay for 10 minutes.
Only 10.
You know what I'm saying? And then everybody think you acting funny because...
They think you acting funny because you gotta go. But
no.
If I let them stay, you won't have no birthday party now. Nope. So you better let me go.
They gonna be
on the floor.
Very true.
Or my face in it, something.
The cake may be with him, leave it with him, because that's the thing. If you don't sing happy birthday at the time he want to sing happy birthday, there's no happy birthday.
It's
gotta go.
So it's isolating. It can be very isolating. And it could be like, like depressing. Like I had to say
It
that.
sounds depressing.
We
You
face,
have to have your
we
alone
face
time
in and out
to
of it.
regroup.
Yes, and it's a constant noise because if you got a kid that vocal stem,
Yeah.
I rock. I don't even realize that I rock now because
I
I'm
have a
used to
tendency
hearing
of rubbing my leg. Yeah, but that's how it be now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's PTSD. Like that's something else. Like so, if ain't nobody checking on her or she don't got no support system, ain't nobody checking on you and your. If it's just you and your girl and y'all just at home and it's just y'all. It's like
That's facts.
it's a different type of loneliness. It's not the same. And
That's
everybody
not.
want to say, "Oh, we support y'all," or whatever the case may be.
That's what
They'll
they
do
say.
the walk, but after that walk is over,
Oh, yeah.
you at home by yourself with this
Yeah,
with
see,
this
like,
kid.
see, like
right?
people like me,
Make it
because
great.
I'm on the outside
Yeah.
looking in. Like, I do anything I can to like
Always.
post something to support it. Like, I don't know. Like, I appreciate y'all coming to talk about it because for me, it's
Become
like
aware. More
yeah,
aware.
yeah, I'm trying to be
Just
aware of it.
just
Like I can never walk in your shoes unless I was actually in your shoes. But I feel like it is important because I see it all the time. Like, and then I'm getting more and more people around me that I love who have it. So, or people who I love who have somebody with it. So I'm just like, you know, when Lon brought it up, I was just like, that's it, all day. Let's do it. You know what I mean? We gotta highlight this. So, my last question I want to ask y'all, and y'all can all answer. If you can explain, or what's the most important thing that you want to, if you could tell one person anything about autism, what would you say to them? Like, in like one sentence, how would you explain to somebody how to treat somebody with autism, or what it stands for, anything about autism? If you could sum it up in one sentence, like how would you describe it?
I may go over a sentence, but forgive me. Because there's a lot with autism and how to handle a person with autism. First, I would say when you get your child diagnosed with autism, when you get your child diagnosed to see what's going on with your child and they say that your child has autism, just study your child, learn your child, because that's the biggest thing, because all they know is you. They're comfortable with you. They don't know nobody but my parent. And if you don't understand your child or you disown the child, it's only going to go downhill. So just pour all of the love into the child, and even with any disability, you just pour love in the child, period.
Yeah, love.
But I would say with handling a child with autism, just treat them regular. Don't pacify them. Don't make them feel or think that something else is wrong with them, because
Treat
it's
them
not.
normal.
Because we may be different to them. You know what I'm saying? We're different.
Right.
We don't know what normal is nowadays. So, yeah.
I would say to add to that, patience again. Like definitely just be patient. We all get frustrated.
Oh yeah.
Even with regular children, how if we're gonna use it in that term. But everybody's different. So they're different. You know, I'm different. You different. Right? Literally.
Yeah.
We all at the table different.
Oh, yeah.
So what's the difference? That's how I look at it.
That's great.
Difference. Come on
I
now.
like how you
I
said
like the way
that.
you
You
did
gotta put
that.
that on the shirt.
You know, he an artist,
I
y'all.
like
so
it
yeah,
the way you
love
did
it.
that.
Too, so
Yeah.
yeah.
What's the difference?
I'm different, you different, we different. What's the difference?
What's the difference?
That's
I
the,
like
that's the
that.
title of the episode. What's the
Yes.
difference?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I would just say support.
Support.
And I hate to say this, but just going through my journey, support the parent first. Because if the parent not okay, the kid ain't okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
So that's the biggest thing. Like, we don't have no support. We have no support, and that's what I advocate for. I'm actually getting ready to do a special needs child care center mixed with typical kids. Puzzle Piece Child coming soon. I do at home daycare now.
That's what's up.
But I'm doing that to socialize, because he talked about making it normal and seeing stuff like, ask, can you help? Because my son be whooping my ass, and I be struggling to get him in the car from the grocery store, or whatever it is. Ask somebody, can they help? So again, support. Like,
time.
support.
That's
Make it normal.
That's
Big
good.
time.
That's
Man, I appreciate y'all, man. Thanks, because this is why I love black people. This is why I wanted to do this, because it's like, we don't talk like this. It wasn't like you need to do this because you're not reading off of pamphlets and like teaching the class. We just having a general conversation, and I feel like everybody need to have this open floor to just vent, because autism ain't the only thing. It's other stuff that us as a people we go through, and I just feel like, man, that's just trying to give people the opportunity to vent about whatever they're going through. So once again, thanks for the shirt.
Yeah.
Dopetism.
Oh, man.
Autism.
Definitely.
Dopetism. Please support. I'm gonna have her tagged on my Instagram. Everything I post to promote this episode, I'm gonna tag Dopetism with the shirt. Puzzle Piece.
Puzzle Piece.
My Instagram is @puzzlepiece,
You gonna be tagged.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. He gonna have it on there.
Oh,
He
okay.
cold with it. He cold with it. But I'm just. I just wanted to, shout out what y'all doing.
And we just gonna get together and make a song about it all. How about
Yeah.
that?
Hey, listen.
Let's make it like that.
Oh yeah. And listen, man, I appreciate y'all. Is it okay because I can't fit that. Is it okay if I give it to this son?
Sure.
So then nephew
Pass
got
it
that.
down, nephew.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks again for another episode of Follow Suit. Once again, I am PO. I appreciate y'all coming through. Y'all have a good one.
Peace.
Thank you.